Well, good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the corruption detector, and this is your Red Pill News. I hope everyone had a lovely weekend. We had the most amazing show yesterday for Comfy Sunday. For those who were not able to be there or who maybe didn't get a notification, Roseanne Barr was our guest. We had a riveting 2-hour conversation. We had some incredible calls from the audience. You guys, I'm going to put the link to that video in the description below, so you can go ahead and check it out if you didn't get a chance to watch it yet. Absolutely smashing success. We had such a wonderful time, and Roseanne, I want to thank you personally once again for agreeing to come on the show. You are a beautiful woman. You are an incredible thinker, and it was just a joy to have you here in the studio. All right, guys, so we've got a couple of things we're going over today. We're going to be talking about the Tarmac meeting in depth because it's come up in an article by the American Thinker that I was going to go over, and then our favorite Anon just happened to drop a little bit of news about it. So clearly, I think that we are meant to take a deeper look. So we're going to take a look at some coverage on it. We're going to actually take a look at a video of Loretta Lynch lying her tail off about what her and Bill Clinton spoke about. And then there may be a few other things that we're going to get to. I am a little tired after yesterday, so this is not going to be a super long video, but I hope you guys enjoy it nonetheless. So please, everyone, do sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. Are you guys using a VPN to watch this video? Well, if you're not, you probably should. If you are and it's not Virtual Shield, then you're probably using one that isn't trusted and is selling your data behind your back. Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and Bill Gates are some of the creepiest looking people on the planet, and we are willingly letting them know everything about us on a daily basis. Where we shop, who our family and friends are, what our location is, etc. It goes on and on. Our only protection against these digital tyrants is the use of a VPN and our constitutional right to privacy. A VPN, a virtual private network, is a server where you can log on before you browse the internet, and it basically masks or hides your identity to those nasty, nosy data thieves. It's not complicated at all. You just press a button and wow, you're protected. You can sign up now for a free 30-day trial of Virtual Shield VPN, mobile and desktop. This will allow you to create a secure connection to another network over the internet. Virtual Shield can be used to shield your browsing activity from prying eyes, whether you're on a public Wi-Fi connection, in a foreign country, or just at home. Let me show you guys how easy it is. Alright, so here we are. We'll go to what is my IP. You can see it's right there. Now, when I connect to Virtual Shield, that will mask my actual location, and it now shows that I am here in Chicago, Illinois, and my location is secure. In order to honor the passing of one of the NBA's all-time greatest athletes this month, Virtual Shield is offering a 24% off discount on all VPN plans and all premium add-ons, including Protection Plus, Residential Access, and VIP Performance plans for as low as a cup of coffee. Sign up for a free 30-day trial to use Virtual Shield VPN right now and see what the hype is about. You've got nothing to lose. Go to www.virtualshield.com/redpill78. And remember, when you support my sponsors, you support this channel. All right, guys, thanks for sticking around. First of all, today we're going to go over the latest post number 3868. And right here we have an embedded tweet from Carluska P, our good friend Carly P, and then also the OIG report, page 203, and that is what is quoted right here. The OPA supervisor said that he later learned that former President Clinton's Secret Service detail had contacted Lynch's FBI security detail and let them know that the former president wanted to meet with Lynch. Although Lynch's staff was supposed to receive notice of such requests, witnesses told us they were not informed of the request from former President Clinton. Coordination? Sure sounds like it. Date of the Tarmac meeting and the date of the HRC investigation and announcement. 1 + 1 = 2. It's going to be a very hot spring and summer. That's right. This meeting clearly was coordinated between Lynch and Clinton, and it was immediately after this that we had the investigation announcement by James Comey stating that this was going to be ending and that no reasonable prosecutor would bring charges against HRC. Let's go ahead and take a look at the clip, which is a tweet from Carly P. All right, so this morning at 9:41 p.m., Carly put this tweet out. She says, "The secret Tarmac meeting, what happens when Loretta Lynch can no longer provide legal cover for the Clintons? Tarmac meetings end." Q, the more you know. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this clip, which is the reporter who actually broke the story in the first place.
Right, so from the get-go, this just didn't add up, did it?
Not at all. When I broke this story, we knew that something had occurred here that was a bit unusual. It was a planned meeting. It was not a coincidence. It was planned, it happened, and this details everything that they don't want you to know and everything they think you forgot. But Bill Clinton was on that plane for 20 minutes, and it wasn't just about golf, grandkids, Brexit. There's so much that doesn't add up, and even as time has passed, there's so much I think that even Loretta Lynch and Bill Clinton have forgotten.
How do you know it was planned and not just a happenstance? Hey, look, our planes are next to each other.
I have a source that walks me through it from point A to point B to point Z. And my source saw it all unfold and says when Bill Clinton arrived at the airport, he waited. He knew Loretta Lynch was taxiing. The plane was moving. He then sat and waited in his car with the motorcade. Her air stairs come down. Most of her staff gets off. He then gets on as the Secret Service and FBI are figuring out, how in the world are we supposed to handle this? What are we going to do? You know, this story isn't about right or left, Republican, Democrat. It's about right and wrong in journalism, and that was my focus of this. It's about real journalism, getting to the facts.
Well, why do you think this didn't get more attention then? I mean, you look at the way that Attorney General Bill Barr is being treated now. You look at the way that the Trump administration has been treated. You think that this would be worthy of more attention than it received and also more scrutiny. Why didn't it get that?
You and I are on the same page on this. As journalists, you have to ask yourself, why are people not delving into this? Why are we not looking into what exactly happened? Loretta Lynch, in December of 18, she went before House Judiciary Committee, House Oversight Committee, excuse me, and testified. And in there, she mentioned that Bill Clinton flattered her, talked about Eric Holder, talked about how things were going at Justice, talked about her job performance, not this golf, grandkids, Brexit.
Well, and you've paid the price for this career-wise. What kind of threats or what have you received?
Well, my family received significant death threats shortly after breaking this story, credit cards hacked. You know, my children, we have code words. We have secret code words that they know what to do. And that's why I came back to WBMA, ABC 3340 in Birmingham, because when I was enduring the death threats...
All right, so on June 27th, 2016, we have the coordinated meeting between Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch. Now, who was Christopher Sine's source? Well, I have an idea, and I'm going to take you back to post 36, way back to the beginning, so that we can go ahead and take a look at what my theory entails. But on July 5th of 2016, that's when we have the announcement from James Comey stating that no reasonable prosecutor would take up this case against HRC. Of course, we know that that's not true. We've had many seemingly reasonable prosecutors take up cases against defendants for far less than what HRC was clearly guilty of. Allegedly, but we have to wait until she actually sees the inside of a courtroom before we can say with definitive certainty. However, I have a fairly good idea. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the post, and then we'll continue on. So, taking us back to post 36 right here. Now, this was November 2nd of 2017, and I'm sure that just like me, when people saw this, they knew exactly what was being talked about. Military intelligence, no media, no leaks. How many MI generals have been in and out of the White House in the past 30 days? Focus on Flynn. Background and potential role. What is the common denominator in terms of military backgrounds close to POTUS? Why did Soros transfer the bulk of his public funds to an NPO? Why is this relevant? Who owes a lot to very bad actors? How can she repay as payment was made under promise of victory? What cash payments occurred by BO during the last 90 of his presidency to foreign states and or organizations? What slush fund did AG Sessions through the DOJ put an end to? How does Soros, Obama, Clinton, Holder, Lynch, etc. all net many millions of dollars normally within a single tax year? Now, what was negotiated at the tarmac between BC and Lynch? Remember, it was expected HRC was going to win during this time period. What if the Wizards and Warlocks, that is the NSA people, tipped off a local reporter as to the supposed unscheduled stop. And I believe that reporter is Christopher Sine, the gentleman that we just saw the interview with, and his source was one of these wizards and warlocks. What if the NSA, under the personal direction from Admiral R, had this meeting miscategorized and logged under a false identity to prevent bad actors from locating, while also verifying to said players that all was clear? No logs. So that means that they have a recording of this. They were able to record this meeting between BC and LL. They knew exactly what was going to happen. They knew ahead of time that they were going to meet because they could see the coordination that was taking place between them. They tipped off Christopher Sine. Christopher Sine writes the article. It all comes out, and James Comey ends up making the announcement that no one is going to prosecute HRC because, you know, it has nothing to do with this Tarmac meeting, but of course we know that it definitely does. So in the end, we all found out, and now, today, it's coming out to an even greater degree. President Trump made an allusion to this the other day, but this isn't the first time he's talked about it. Let's go ahead and take a look at President Trump speaking about this on the campaign trail. All right, so from Methods, a clip, it says, Trump in 2016 called BS on the Clinton-Lynch Tarmac meeting. Let's take a look.
We're going to make our government so important, responsible to the people, not to the special interests. The special interests control your government, folks. The special interests. I mean, you see what happened today where Bill Clinton goes in the other day into an airplane. Just happened to be, just a coincidence, you know. He just happened to be at the airport at this time. Think of it. Just happened to be at the airport. You know, when I first heard the story, I said, no, you're kidding. I don't believe it. I thought somebody was joking. But it's not a joke. It's not a joke. It's a very serious thing. And to have a thing like that happen is so sad. And as you know, Hillary is so guilty. She's so guilty. I mean, you can read them right off here. And how that's not being pursued properly. And I think that he really opened it up. He opened up a Pandora's box, and it shows what's going on, and it shows what's happening with our laws and with our government. But if you think that he just happened to be at the airport, because nobody really, and he may have, and honestly, he may have left and gone someplace, but it seems like, you know, he's talking about golf and grandchildren. I love my grandchildren so much. But if I talk about them for more than about 9 or 10 seconds, you know, what do we... I love my grandchildren. I love that one. I love that one. I love that one. And look at the beautiful, I love these kids. After that, what are you going to say, right? Then you have to talk about golf for the rest of the time. And, you know, I love golf. But after talking for a couple of minutes, it's hard to talk about it much longer.
He's so right. There's no way they talked all that time about golf, grandchildren, and Brexit. I mean, Brexit is in a completely different country. What are they going to say? They were making a deal. They were making a deal for Loretta Lynch to become a Supreme Court justice when Hillary Clinton was elected. And of course, this was a coordinated meeting. When just the way President Trump said it right there. When I first heard about it, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, no, really? And then when James Comey made the announcement, of course I knew. Everybody knew. It was such a painfully obvious situation. Let's go back to that post one more time and take a look at something else. All right, so it continues. What really happened when the wizards and warlocks revealed what they had? Was Comey forced into the spotlight shortly thereafter, not by choice, right before the election, no doubt, which would cast suspicion? These are crumbs, and you cannot imagine the full and complete picture. If Trump failed, if we failed, and HRC assumed control, we as patriots were prepared to do the unthinkable. This was leaked internally and kept the delegate recount scam and BO from declaring fraud. Dig deeper. Missing critical points to paint the full picture. There is simply no way other than to use the military. It's that corrupt and dirty. Please be safe and pray for those in harm's way as they continually protect and serve our great country. So what he's insinuating here is that James Comey learned of the fact that this meeting had been recorded and that someone was getting tipped off, and he was forced to come out and say something to kind of head them off at the pass before it could come out that there was some type of a deal. Just in case HRC didn't win, he was going to let her off the hook before President Trump came into office, and then she would be potentially prosecuted for all of her crimes, and then, of course, James Comey and everybody else along with him. Well, now that we've heard from James Comey a little bit, we've heard from Christopher Stein, we've heard from President Trump, let's hear what Loretta Lynch had to say about that meeting. All right, also from my good friend and fellow researcher Methods, Loretta Lynch in December 2016 attempting to do damage control over the infamous Tarmac meeting. Here she is in an interview with a CNN talking head. You'll know him when you see him. Let's take a listen.
Take me back to June 27th. You and President Clinton were both in Phoenix, Arizona. He saw your plane on the tarmac. He got on board your plane. How did that visit happen? Did somebody say, hey, President Clinton's outside, he wants to come in, or did he just come in?
Well, I can't say what President Clinton saw or thought because I wasn't in communication with him before that, so I don't know what was in his mind.
No, but did an FBI agent say, hey, he's outside, he wants to come in?
All I can tell you is that we were landing and we were moving on with our program, and we were about to leave and about to go into our cars and move on to our evening events, and it was communicated to me that he wanted to say hello, and that was all the information that we gained.
Trump campaign manager Kellyanne Conway told me that that meeting, President Clinton coming to you, quote, bothered some voters because it, quote, played right into the culture of corruption, the notion that there's, quote, different set of rules for elites like the Clintons. Looking back, do you wish that when he came over, you said, we really shouldn't talk? It would be really inappropriate, and hello and goodbye?
So, as I've said at the time, I think like days after that meeting, I regretted not seeing that issue and not seeing around that corner. You know, I regretted viewing it as just, again, as the number of people who come by and say hello.
It didn't cross your mind when you were sitting there like, oh, somebody's going to make a big deal out of this.
And our conversation went on a lot longer, certainly, than I had anticipated, because it was just going to be, hello, how are you? And everyone was going to go on about their evening, as far as we were concerned.
He's a talker.
Jake Tapper just serving her up a silver platter. So, just think about it. And, of course, Loretta Lynch is a smooth talker. I'm sure that everyone saw her testifying before Congress. I wish I would have seen around that corner. Give me a break. Are you telling me that you didn't think as soon as you saw Bill Clinton waiting for you on the tarmac in an airport, highly irregular behavior, that he wanted to come onto your plane and talk to you about something while his wife was currently under investigation for the biggest scandal in the history of the country? Oh, no. I didn't see that. Didn't see around that corner. Well, now it's all starting to come back around because people are talking about it. And I do think that we're going to have some more information coming out about this in the very near future. Now let's move on to something else. Now, I take you back to the question, why is this subject coming up again right now? Well, here we have a tweet from Wayne Allen Root. He says, on to more important news. My insider sources say government has recordings of Clinton AG Loretta Lynch Tarmac meeting on that government airplane. I hear Bill Clinton offered her a bribe. People are going to jail. You're going to find out how corrupt the Clintons are. Hashtag bye-bye. Now, the question is, was Wayne Allen Root referring to that Q post, which are suggesting that there is a recording of that tarmac meeting, or does he have another more direct source inside the government, because they clearly actually do have a recording of that tarmac meeting? If this was on a government airplane, knowing what we know about the wizards and warlocks and their ability to eavesdrop and to spy in certain capacities with electronic devices, it is very, very likely that, yes, of course, there is a tape of that meeting available. And if we know that Admiral Rogers miscategorized it so that it could be hidden, and so that the bad guys, the black hats inside the government, were unable to find it and therefore delete it, then clearly this is going to come out. And since it's being brought back to our attention, since President Trump just mentioned it very recently, I think that it's very clear to me that this is something that is going to bubble back up into the public consciousness. I think that's why we're getting these breadcrumbs about it right now. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at this incredible article from the American Thinker, because it contains some excellent proofs, things that have taken place very recently. All right, so here we have an excellent publication, The American Thinker. They have written several articles about our favorite Anon at this point. This one is entitled The Silent War Continues. So you can see that they're building upon the themes that Q is producing in these posts. Now, they open the article by talking about the times in which we live, the actual phenomena that is our favorite Anon, what it is, how it works, and also how it relates to President Trump, and how President Trump continues to bring attention to our favorite Anon, repeatedly retweeting followers of Q, featuring Q fans in campaign ads, making that public display of that baby. You guys know what I mean. Yet the media continues to remain silent on this issue. They refuse to ask the question. Instead, they just keep ratcheting up their attack. In fact, today we have yet another anti-Q article written by Wired magazine, and it looks like on February 9th, both the AP and the New York Times published their own anti-Q articles, which included baseless claims, saying that we were far-right conspiracy theorists, that this was all debunked. Clearly, this has been debunked in the exact same way that Joe Biden's corruption in the Ukraine has been debunked, and we also keep seeing these massive attacks on 8kun, clearly because they are afraid of the information being brought forth on that message board. Now, remember, we've had a string of attacks on 8kun, and just the other day there was one that Ron commented on, specifically saying that it was very sophisticated. Clearly, the attacks that were coming against the site were from some type of state-sponsored actor, people with very sophisticated methods. They were able to take down not only 8kun, but also the infrastructure networks that 8kun was using over and above them. Now, on February 12th, in response to these events, Q posted highly sophisticated state-level attacks versus 8kun, followed by fake news attacks versus Q the next day. Coordinated? Ask yourself a simple question. Why? It's time to wake up. Now, in almost 4,000 posts, our favorite Anon has painted a disturbing, multifaceted portrait of a global crime syndicate that operates with impunity. And in recent weeks, President Trump has grown more explicit about some of the syndicate's crimes. Speaking to the National Governors Association, President Trump stated in an almost casual, offhand manner why the United States had recently upgraded its nuclear missile technology at great expense. He said, "We're buying new. We have the super fast missiles, tremendous number of the super fast. We call them super fast where they're 4, 5, 6, or even 7 times faster than ordinary missiles. We need that again because Russia has some. I won't tell you how they got it. They got it supposedly from the Obama administration when we weren't doing it, and that's too bad. It's not good, but that's how it happened." Very shocking way for the president to announce that there was technology and information coming out of Renegade's administration straight into the hands of our supposed enemies. Now, the president's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, has also grown more specific in his accusations, tweeting, "The Biden family enterprise has been selling his office for years. The corrupt media has been covering it up. It was handed to me, and I had the courage to reveal it, knowing the swamp would try to destroy me. I served my country. They are betraying it. I will not stop." Now, followers of our favorite Anon were not surprised by either the president or Rudy Giuliani's charges, since they have probed into Q's numerous clues about the treachery of America's elite. Now, the article continues through some instances of events that took place that were foreshadowed previously in the posts. Specifically right here, Trump's acquittal of impeachment charges. Now, we were told previously that the Senate was the target. We've definitely talked about that here on the show before. We needed the Senate so that when the president was impeached by the House, we were able to overturn it and make sure that he was acquitted. Now, the best is yet to come. This is a great one. This was at the end of a post the other day on January 28th, earlier in the afternoon at 2:26 p.m. Now, President Trump actually debuted this campaign theme later on that evening at his event in Wildwood, New Jersey. He used the exact word, not a kind of a version of the phrase, but the phrase, "the best is yet to come." Now, Trump hinted at the Tarmac meeting deal back on June 27th, 2016. We saw the coverage of that only moments ago. And then on January 14th at his Milwaukee rally, President Trump offered additional insight into the nature of the payout when he suggested that Bill Clinton promised Lynch a Supreme Court appointment, which would have been conferred if Hillary had won. Now, we were already familiar with that scenario because on February 6th of 2018, Q had posted the following message about the Tarmac meeting. SCLL deal AS187. So, Supreme Court, Loretta Lynch deal, Antonin Scalia 187. Now, here are some of Q followers' interpretations of that message. The Supreme Court Loretta Lynch deal was connected to the purported murder of Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia. Scalia died suddenly at the Texas ranch on February 13th of 2016 and was declared dead of natural causes over the phone. There was no autopsy. There was no examination. Remember, also, Trump accused Adam Schiff of being a very sick man. President Trump said, "Shifty Adam Schiff is a corrupt politician and probably a very sick man. He has not paid the price yet for what he has done to our country." Now, the president's words immediately evoked one of Q's signature phrases, "These people are sick," and he's even used that phrase, "these people are sick," on many occasions ever since then. Now, there are a number of reasons for that. I'm going to leave the specifics of that in this article because I'm going to want you guys to read it, because this place, American Thinker, definitely deserves your patronage. Now, Q has named this extraordinary time the Great Awakening, in which the world is moving from dark to light. This is a horrific thing that we've had to deal with all these many generations, and we've been told you are watching the systematic destruction of the old guard, and we've been told to pray on a number of occasions. And right now, guys, I think that is the absolute best thing that we can do. Continue to spread this information, continue to pray for this movement, continue to pray for the president, continue to pray for our country as we are moving from dark to light. All right, guys, I think that's all that I've got for you today. Don't forget, we have that contest. When we reach 200,000 subscribers, you guys have the opportunity to win a gift card to the place of your choice. Two winners are going to get $100 each. Remember to like, share, and comment on these videos. The video with the most number of likes and the video with the most number of views will each have a winner chosen at random from the comment section. What do you guys think? Are we going to learn more about this Tarmac meeting? Are people finally going to go to jail as a result of it? It would be quite the hubbub if we got that recording released to the American public, because then the evidence would be incontrovertible. Or perhaps they're going to wait to reveal it in court, and that way it will be particularly damning for the defense. All right, guys, as always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this was your Red Pilled News. Good luck, everyone, and God bless. Hey guys, it's Red Pill. Just one more thing. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who has taken the time to support this channel. If you'd like to see some ways that you can support the channel, you can always check the show notes in the pinned comment of this video below. Whether you like, whether you share, whether you make sure that your notifications are on, any way that you support this channel means so much to me. I could not be doing this without you, and I could not do it without your help. Without people like you, this channel would not exist, so thank you so much to everyone for all of their many means of support. Don't forget to check out the merchandise store that is also in the pinned comment, and I will see you guys next time.